I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call a meeting to order.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the agenda if there's no changes to it.
I'll second that. Okay, and I'm aware of any discussion, not all in favor?
Aye.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes for January 30th, 2024.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
And I'll make a motion to approve the budget session minutes for January 24th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meetings minutes, John.
Had two. Yesterday we had a conservation meeting. They talked a little bit about the Indian Slough land survey. I guess it's still moving forward. It kind of fell off the radar for a little bit, I understand, but it's back. They're back working on it again. Summer camp. Talked about that for a while. They're gonna try to go after a Washington Riverboat grant. There was some discussion on what they wanted to do with the money or where they wanted to go, but I think that's still a little bit up in the air. They're working that out. They got a new truck. It showed up. They were happy to see their new truck. Chickapin, they're talking about planting some more pawpaw trees and keeping that going. And the Virginia Grove Fishing Pier repairs, there had a little bit of discussion on that too. And then towards the end, there was some discussion on the River Forks boat ramp. Apparently there needs some repairs and there was some trash laying around and talk about garbage cans that don't seem to stay in place. And so.
See, actually a deputy picked that up.
Yeah, and I think a deputy picked some trash up out. There's some other place he picked some up and then out by saw a post by the concrete plant in Wapello, somebody had dumped a whole bunch out there too, so.
I see 3 bags.
They seem to think it's the same.
There were 5, 6 bags. I took that. I just wanted to get one frame.
There was Dollar General bags. I see.
Variety of.
Don't be long, we'll catch them. Just a matter of time.
Morning, lady.
Hey, morning.
Picture of the stuff in the back of the pickup truck. That was my pickup truck. I picked up before the big snow out here on Highway 99.
If the public could just be observant and if they notice somebody throwing stuff out to let somebody know, so.
Yeah.
Then I had, on the weekend, I got asked to come over to maybe a little town hall meeting in Columbus Junction. And kind of give them a little update on this whole thing with the ambulance tax, and there was a lot of questions about that and kind of a county state of the union thing, so I briefed them on that for a couple hours and everybody left pretty happy, I guess. I didn't get beat up, so it's a good thing.
So responsible.
Yeah, that's about all I had.
Yes.
Farm Bureau wants us to go give a state of the union again at Thursday night at 7:30. I think we need to get it posted because Brad's gonna go with me.
Yeah, I'll probably be there too.
You'll be there too, great.
What time was that again?
7:30
7:30. Here in town? Not
Yeah.
here? Okay.
in the basement.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay. Working on, kind of a job description for the windows. Complex, went out there and showed another contractor around a little bit. Got a call last Thursday, Southeast Regional Planning on April 29th. We're gonna go to Washington DC. We're gonna go to the US Chamber of Commerce. HUD office, Federal Highway. We're gonna meet with Senator Grassley Ernst and Representative Miller Meeks on housing and trying to bring our communities up a little bit. So I asked if Mayor Schaefer could attend. He's checking into it. So I'd like to get he's involved in Southeast Regional Planning, and I'd like to get where we see if we can do anything for anything that gets some housing going on in the community funding. So we've asked about that, so gonna go up on the 29th. So looking forward to that. Other than that, that's about it. Payroll changes I handed out.
Yep, we've both seen them and there they are. And what do we do with that ambulance report? Have you seen the ambulance?
I have not.
All right, sorry.
Any input?
Yeah, I'm just here to ask you on the agenda for next week. I got a letter of advice from the state talking about properties that qualify for a buyout. They've had a couple of claims against their flood insurance. And so there were six properties they noted, but only 3 of them have already been mitigated. So we're down to 3 that really qualify. And one of them had a conflicting address of Des Moines County. So we're really only down to 2. And those are full-time residents. So they may not want to offer a buyout, but so there's a process to that. And there's,
We really don't want any more FEMA buyouts.
well, I don't think people would want to because they're living in their homes and they've been mitigated and, well, I just want to talk about that on the agenda, figure out. Because I need to make those people probably make the people aware at a minimum and then tell them about the process. And once they learn about the process, they probably will opt out. But they need to have the opportunity and the information, I think. Okay, so Selena, if I can get on the agenda, it would have to be the first thing, because I have another meeting at 9:30 at the latest.
Okay, well, I'll have like a 9:15,
Okay,
okay?
Thank you. Yep. Anybody else? Things are done. We have a 10, we can do 10. Sean, you have that on your desk if we want to do that.
All right, what am I making a resolution for?
It's on the loan review committee for the Southeast Regional.
Okay. I'll make a resolution or a motion on resolution 202410. That the county intends to appoint Brooklyn Holcamp, Bill Small, Mark Houston to the SEIR PC Loan Review Committee.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, we got 14 and 15. That was some of the things we wanted to do.
What type of windows are you thinking about putting in there?
I'd like to do a aluminum frame type of windows. They were replaced. It looks like maybe metal to toward the end of the 70s. Just we can't get the date right. It's hard to see, especially my eyes. But
That's when it was built.
it was actually built in late 60s, 70s, right? Early 70s, but I think
like 74.5.
Yeah. So, but it had 2 windows replaced, and I don't know when they was replaced, but they're vinyl and the rest of them got the aluminum on it, so I don't know.
Well,
Some reason they replaced a couple
you
windows,
got operators in them. Awnings, casements.
sliders, yeah. And then, the other one, is a double hung. And, we've got one that had a towel in between it. And I ended up getting it where it latched. I think the top sash slipped down and I didn't see that.
How many windows are we talking? I mean, the whole way
Uh,
around.
see, there's 1, 2,
Probably the old X part.
4, 5,
That includes sheriff's side,
no, 6,
so conservation
7.
and public health.
Kitchen.
How far you wanna go? Make it all
Well,
or-
can we do it in options? Can we have
Sure.
alternates and say, hey, so much for the wing on. The conservation
Sure.
and so much for the wing on, and then we can pick and choose.
I think there's 8 windows on the public health side. The front has the most, the back, there's like 3 areas that don't have any windows in 3 rooms, so.
It would make sense to try to do all of them the same, all of them sliders or all of them, whatever. That way, if there's some issues with parts later on, you don't have a double hung over here and you have a slider over here and an awning over here and try to keep it consistent.
Yeah, cause I looked at fixing them and they're vinyl windows, some of them are vinyl, and they're just, sashes are getting bowed and the sun's really been hard on that side. Now, the other side don't look bad, but
Are they brown?
yeah,
So they're like a dark bronze anodized or something.
kind of
Yeah.
ain't now. Because of the sun, but anyway, we'll start on that. Yeah, I'll do it where we'll do each one of them, just do all 3. I was looking at public health, but yeah, I'll do all of them. We'll do it.
Yeah, and keep several options of. And then maybe the final option is, what's the price if you did them all? Maybe be a little less if they. When I did it, and they chopped it up, but the individuals always just a wee bit higher than if you just did them all together.
And then the electrical at the courthouse, we want to relocate the switch boxes. It's a 3-phase system. And we have to have it because the air handler on the roof is the only thing that's 3-phase. I don't know if the elevator might be 3-phase, but it's 208. But the boxes are shot and they're getting wet every time that the snow melts or rain, the water runs right on top of them. And then our second part is we gotta fix that ceiling roof over the old coal bunker, that coal bunker area. I don't know if you ever seen it down there, Sean.
They showed it to me.
Yeah, all the spalding concrete and debris bars at the bottom and.
We're relocating the panels, right?
Yeah, we have to get them up there. So it's kind of a 2-part, and then we'll have to properly have it engineered or go to something totally different that we're gonna put down. And the reason we barricaded it about 6 years ago is we just didn't want the fire truck driving on top of it or putting an axle in it because it would probably end up in the basement. So.
Can we cap that and then put maybe a,
Yeah, we've looked at that. That's why I said we have to come up with a decision how we want to do it.
awning over it or something so people could. Sit outside and.
It almost has to be higher to keep the car. Almost to do it, but.
Anytime we talked about building a wall on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, have a lean to.
Yeah, well. Nobody smokes much anymore, but. But people instead, when you stay out of the sun or rain or something, I don't know.
And if you brace it up underneath, it would really be expensive.
And if we made it where they can drive on it, that would be expensive. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah, cause you have to excavate it and just fill it.
And we can't fill it in. I thought about originally filling in, but there's some pumps and stuff for the elevator, so that room is.
Yeah, it was
Not bad. If that wasn't there, we could block the walls off and fill it in with sand and be done with it, but. It's just kind of a junk area. But. Have to look at fixing.
It sounds like a two-part thing, moving electrical is one thing, and then
That's
capping it or whatever is. Fixing is secondary.
With our COVID money, do we wanna? We always talked about it, instead of those little portable buildings, build a.
Yeah.
3 or 4 car garage to put the van and Tracy's truck and the lawnmower in.
Just how much money we have, yeah.
Big chunk, those courthouse is gonna take.
Yeah.
But I have it on the books. If there's some left.
So we'll put the ads in that, get that stuff going, give it a 2 week and then open the bids up and.
And the courthouse is gonna be hard to bid.
Yeah.
To do it in 2 or 3 phases.
Yeah, I think electrical, just do that first and then figure out what we're gonna do as far as aesthetics, like make sure that the building, we put something in and don't take away from the. The building.
If you need some help on the Windows spec, let me know for the complex, I can help you.
Yep. Sounds good. So if we put that ads in today, so next week. The 13th. So we wanna do bids, the 12th, yeah, when that, 5th or 12th is good, too soon.
Yeah, maybe the 12th, because we really have, do you have, an ad in mind or?
Yeah, I'm working on that, I'll get that something to you.
When we have all the specs together, for that. For the Windows, when,
Hopefully I have something this week.
I know some companies I can contact, so.
We got a number 9. You guys got a copy of that?
No, they will think so.
Yeah, it should look like this. I put one on everybody's desk.
Was it in that thing that was? Paper clipped together?
It was on the back of that paper clip.
I got nothing.
All right, so what am I looking at? All of our employees?
Anybody that we paid wages to from. From January to the December of last year, right?
Yeah, looks like 1-1.
Cause.
Oh, it's in between payroll, that's what I was wondering why. You're elected official, Sean.
Yeah, we're just salary.
So.
Yeah, so.
Pays more.
Huh?
It pays more.
Yeah.
You actually got paid less.
Yeah.
I didn't say which one.
I did. Technically, I did.
Yeah, you get about $500 less.
Right? So it's great that we have the report. What's this do for us?
Basically, they showed you where the wages are based on the total amount of wage we have for the employees.
Okay. That's an ever It's a kind of a fluid thing, because everybody's get steps at different times of the year, and
Yeah. I mean, there's several steps, for different areas. In solid waste on the very backs of pass through. It's not good. Not necessarily the same wages we have as better grades.
the last page is solid waste.
No, just see the last 5,
Oh, I see, okay.
and that's just a pass through, it's not. And then public health and conservation, that's up to the boards for that wage. Not necessarily, it goes normally holds that.
So $5 million worth of wages. Plus the assessor's budget of almost 200,000, your wages.
Yeah, but isn't that tax?
No, that's where the assessors is.
Yeah, tax separately.
The $1 million, a little over $1 million worth of insurance, wonder where our money goes.
Doesn't matter if it's here or business, it's all the same. My biggest expense in my company is wages and health insurance.
Right, that's the way.
Didn't
it
have
goes.
that, I'd be rich.
Yeah.
But. Well, no. Really wouldn't, I got it right. Yeah. But he might be. Yeah. Thank you. Morning. Hey, guys.
You want to get this over with first? Make a motion to approve the application to approve construction on the right of way, allowing fiber to provide service to US on X17.
Okay, got a motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Is everything good with everything? Yeah, it's fine. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Other thing, you guys, a month ago, you talked a little about
Purple Heart community thing, talking to the DOT to see what they would allow us to do on their highways. I'm assuming 61 would probably be a no, but maybe 982 and 78 or something like that, so signs are
I've seen
80,
161 before.
yeah, so I don't know.
Probably just in the federal area, probably.
I'm asking about it, so it's, the signs are 89 bucks a piece. Is that something Veterans Affairs pay for, or something you want us to pay for, or what do you?
Well, Kurt ain't here, but we'll.
You know what happens when you're not at the meeting.
It's something we can look at.
Yeah, well-
Obviously, we can.
How many total signs are you?
I don't know, I talked to my uncle yesterday and he wants a bunch of them, but I don't know if that's for realistic or not, so. Let's see if we put it on the state highways, that'd be 70, 78, 92 for sure. Maybe 99 and X61 or some of our higher travel. You know, what,
Is that 800?
5 to 8 or something.
$500. I don't have any big deal.
Yeah, okay.
We'll figure it out.
So on that. Road update, today, we're out doing some blading and rocking and things like that now. I've had a couple complaints about people, you know, getting shoulders thrown in their yard and rocking their yard and all that, and then, I'm sorry, that's just that tough. I mean, we had 24 inches down on the ground, wasn't frozen. You know, we can't go back over it all and rake it back up into the road or nothing. It's just part of living in rural Iowa in the winter. It happens, you know. And as I drive around, there's lots of gravel in the ditch too, and that's just part of the problem when you have to come back and keep on winging things back and all that. So, other than that, we are working on some trees. I did hire a mechanic from internal job, so, or an internal applicant applied and it ended up going with him. I have 3 other applicants, but nobody really had any diesel experience, very little mechanic experience, no CDL. The other guy that had some body shop experience, but no CDL, so just figured it would be better to go with the guy who already knows our system, who's had a good work history and all that, so.
Who was it?
Nate Brake, who's from Junction and all that, so we have an opening for a truck driver now and have already got a few applicants, so I don't think that one could be too hard to fill, so. Good. Other than that, get some bridge plans into the DNR and Corps for permitting and beginning to work on our 5-year plan, I guess, so. Any updates on the budget process or where we're at or any of that, or just,
We're gonna look at the roll up here a little later on.
okay. What time are you thinking about doing that? Is that after everything?
After we get there, it's the last thing on our agenda.
We're welcome to stick around. Yeah, I'll probably run up and come right back, so.
Couple subdivisions, that'll be.
Yeah, the biggest one. Sound good to me, so.
Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Hold on to just or whatever. It's like, yes. I'll do that. So, you know, so I'm really listen to what I do. Should we look at the claims and get them out of the way? Thank you. Thank you. That's too much. Any questions? That's all.
Basically three. One. It's not. And then why?
But then last one, that's what they
So.
Okay, fifty my time, okay, all right.
It's all.
There's. Someone's pretty awesome. The Davidson was.
The Jameson one, that's the, this is the Harrison one that you got, but this is about the system. So I got that all in. They did it all in.
Okay. And then the Jameson.
Yeah, they put
They
that,
did the first.
they changed it and lots of way to. They put another name on it.
Yeah.
So you're happy.
Okay.
The devil you're here.
No.
Oh, that's the same.
I mean,
No,
I'm here.
that's okay. But no, I think so.
Pardon me?
I said your stepson went down there.
Who used that?
Gonna be Jared. I just haven't seen Rick Shannon.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that's in.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Ben.
I'll make the motion to approve the claims. Whenever anybody else was ready.
Brian's looking one up.
Alright, trying to figure out what that $1,000 on that mow is. The what? Says on the back, second to last page. Other vehicles mow 30,000. It did a lease. I don't know. No, I was just looking for it. Good chance. See, they leased that mower and it goes up and paid it. That's all I asked questions.
If you're leasing it,
No, I-
maybe we walk the lease out.
Just got it. It's in the law. Speaking of the- I said, when there's-
They just.
It could be, I just, it says mow. That's the only thing I was questioning. Or that's it. These old ones, you do.
Although expensive. Really, it was the new truck.
No, you're not, man. You're right. You have Zoom. This one. They want to do that.
I'm just doing easement.
1, 2, 3. When they sell it,
Mhm.
then they can use
Okay,
it. It could be coded wrong too, but
all right,
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, okay.
Kind of like me. That's like season, that's what it is.
I guess that's what you got to do.
27.5. Just wanting to do an update, so you got to shut the computer down.
I said, I can't read it from this.
Yeah, that's what we read.
That's right.
Yeah, we might need more.
That would be better.
It's got one that boxes.
We'll put the camera your way and then you guys can read it.
That's okay. We don't need to be on that.
It's me, sir.
So it's on the, where it's under. We'll do that. In a quick.
That new pickup.
Under the knowledge, et cetera.
Okay, so it should be out of that.
Yeah, 2 lines.
Yep, gotcha.
But that one. I'm gonna have to look at that one because I'm not at the number.
Two different accounts.
That's the acquisition too. But usually we don't have those coming up there. But
Just gotta look into that.
Okay,
Because there's a separate line for it that came out of it. Okay, sounds good.
well, I made a motion to approve the claims and I'll second it.
Okay, any questions? Besides that, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
did you guys review the Morning Sun?
Yes. Morning, folks. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Who else we expected?
We got the Jameson subdivision and the Harris subdivision.
Do you need a sign on the heads? Big one.
No, because they sent it to me.
Okay.
No.
You don't need to ask anyone.
Roger, was your clients coming also, or?
No, I don't believe so.
So it would just be you two?
Yes.
So we can go ahead with number 12. Go for it.
You got anything, Brian?
Nope.
I don't know, let me see if your folks are too familiar with this. Let's see where it comes. This is the old Jameson house. And I know, you know, where, or excuse me, Rickards used to live. Brian, not Brian, Nate Hayes bought the house and then, the, Scott and Joan Hunt bought most of that land. Let me show you the,
We did a subdivision. Over the subdivision.
yeah, there's kind of.
Trying to get 2 acres for the house.
Yeah. If you look, it's the road that goes to the country club will be down here
Okay.
at the bottom.
Falling off.
And then there's a private lane that goes back to the old Rickard house.
Oh, okay.
That would be right there. You see where I'm talking,
Yep.
Brad? Right there's the old house. What you see kind of highlighted is what Hunt's bought, most of the farmland. And so straight, kind of almost straight west of the old Rickard house, Jared's gonna build a house back in there. And so you can see the subdivision, the proposed, it's a single lot subdivision. It will have an easement off of 40th Street off the county road back to what is now Hunt's property, and then an easement across what will, I think that's gonna be transferred to Jared. Across his parents' property to where the house is. It's clear west of that parcel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear west, it's back in.
He's gonna have to build a significant lane to the west of the
He
old.
gonna have a long lane, I think, what's about 2,000 feet, wasn't it, Brian?
Exactly.
Something like that.
But with all the trees and everything else, it's where he put it at is,
Kind of a long.
that's all there was 2 acres sitting in there.
Yeah.
So with the CSR rating and everything else, I didn't have a problem.
Is he gonna get up on the hill where he's got a little bit of a view?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long lane.
Well, expensive.
That's a big cost. Power.
Well, Brian, does it meet all your guidelines?
Yep, I've got everything approved by everybody.
Well, out in the winter time won't be any fun either.
Yeah, but after the
Won't
last
be-
3 weeks, you might wanna rethink it. That's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Won't be the county's problem.
That's true. I'll make a motion to approve the Jameson Acres subdivision first edition.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll have to Sarah send that to you. Yeah, she better.
You want me to stay out of that top area?
Here was the resolution. Do you need that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna use this.
We didn't come and put through it.
I'm coming up there.
Priceless there.
Remember anything?
You got it perfect?
Getting there.
You're working pretty hard.
Look at that.
That was pretty good.
Didn't touch anything.
That was pretty good. I'd have probably gone up here, it's a little more room, but you wanted to get it really.
Right there. I went.
One of the few things we can pick on the recorder.
Yeah.
I like that big open spot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you so much. You want some of that back? or-
Up to you if you want to keep one, otherwise I'll take it and get it out of your way. Same with those. Thank you.
We got plenty of other papers here, I don't need any more.
That's right. Thanks, folks. I'll get out of your way.
Brian, who's coming in on the next one?
Harris.
Okay. We'll just wait till we can get through this. Does he have a?
Well, I was gonna do, didn't talk like it to the night. He was gonna represent himself, not.
That's what I thought. We'll just wait till it's my call. But there's a 30 minutes from the. You can represent. We know it. I know where it's at. Here's
Yeah.
And what is this? Right off of the avenue, it's right outside of Morning Sun. Kind of see.
You're building a house out there?
It's his daughter's
with Hackenberg,
Oh, yeah.
so the grandma and grandpa, giving this, well, the 2 acres, the minimum that's required. But it's right off the gravel road, so there's no issues on that. And I've got this. Okay, so where there's lots of line through it.
Not aware.
You can't put it out.
Who's here now? Oh, is that? Oh, okay, okay, yeah, gravel road.
Yep.
So where are they gonna build that? I assume on this side
It's
of the
kind
road?
of a ridge. that goes around it.
Oh, okay. I kept only.
Yeah, well, that's like.
Hey, you're in. What is?
It's kind of a ridge.
Just right
Yeah,
here is where it is, and my,
Okay, I get it.
and that's doing very good.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
It's got a white out on it, but the name has been whited out.
There's another one here. Maybe this is the one you need.
No.
See that they whited out. Yeah, you have one line through it. Anything's.
I'm sure we can still get that changed.
Tammy, yeah. You can't accept this with white outline, can we? You wouldn't accept that.
He hasn't signed it yet.
It's okay to put a line through it, you just can't white out.
And the notary is just for the other people. It's not for.
It's like a mess to me.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you. No, that's what I've been.
Why? Well, Doug comes in here, then we'll get this finished.
It should be here.
We could be here in a minute.
It's just,
Yeah, but somebody else. You can draw a line through it.
put a line through it, sign it below
Yeah. That's what
it,
we
is what I
got
would do.
I don't know if you'll take it. Cause you really can't white out on the document.
No, somebody signed their own place. Never done that before.
It's okay, just draw a line through it, don't white it out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, we'll ask him to put a line through it. Then you can sign your life away, Brad.
I'll sign it, it does ain't that true.
Then I'll even give you that, so you can.
Yep. Stamp that.
Stamp that right on top, right in that open area, top right hand corner.
That's where I like doing it.
Fine, you can hide me all you want. Okay, you're enjoying it. You can take the flash.
There's a pretty good article in there about unfunded mandates.
That's what I'm reading.
Yeah.
That's the first page.
Never heard of such.
Overweight trucks on bridges.
I think I did. Yeah, I
Jamie ever respond? It was.
No, I'm not responding.
It's just not too far from me, that's as old as me.
Yeah, well, just thinking, in like 50 years of money, we'll have to replace that bridge, we have to replace.
50 years.
Yeah.
I'm with others in.
And it's already a 65-year-old bridge.
Supposedly there's a Iowa chapter code 25B that prevents states from mandated act that puts pressures on the counties that actually. Huh. And they just looked at that.
So maybe my class action will work, my 25B will work.
As far as.
Which is a legislative forum on Saturday, and they just brought this up.
Okay, yeah,
And it was, well, you got more money than last year, so you guys will just have to put it within your budget.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, well, thank you.
Their action and stuff, they're not being like the chain. Because I can't.
Never mind that our means wasn't determined by us, it was determined by this state.
It's not within it. So they'll do it.
Okay. And that's an ambition, that's already why. For the trailer house, use something.
Well, we could go into the budget review, with everybody tied up, and when he shows up, then we'll.
he's supposed to be here in 5 minutes by the. Well, no, he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go into it.
We're gonna go into the budget, 2025 budget information. Keep things moving.
Yeah. Well, I printed out a few different copies of things. You'll see option one. Option one basically is just the basics of what we have to do. I will say we're at the highest rate for Gen Basic and rural. We can't raise that whatsoever. And the supplemental, I will say I did raise it a little bit compared to what it was last year. And if you look at the second paper that has the 0002 change, that just kind of shows if it would go down a 10th of what the change would be. So there's the percentages at the bottom. Usually you want to be within 25 to 30% of the fund balance. And with just the basics of what it is, we would be at like -7% for the general basic, 12 if we stayed at the higher rate for general supplemental. In rural, we'd be at 25. And secondary roads, we'd be at 69. Which giving us basically an overall at 26%. For fund balances. That's just for the basics. Option 2. I've talked with Adam and kind of went through and tried to find. We have that lost funds and there's possibility of using some of those lost funds for. Emergency management, what else is there? Maintenance on the building. From the verbiage on the ballot, it basically said funding ambulance, emergency response equipment, improvement, maintenance, repair of the county buildings. And any other lawful purpose of the county as determined time to time from the Board of Supervisors. So it's a possibility we could use some of those lost funds and transfer that into the general basic. I kind of did, we automatically already do 140 for the ambulance, but we could possibly do additional funds, so the general services, county complex, building repair, and maintenance for the different buildings. So we possibly could transfer up to like 644,000 from lost, if it's not already allocated to some other fund.
What's our lost balance at now?
At estimated balance start for July 1st would be 1.4 if we're not using any more this year.
So that 644,000 comes from the 1.4.
Yes, it would come off of that 1.4.
Okay.
If we build up over the last year and a half, it's only
Right.
about $800,000 a year. So you're keeping it.
Right. That is if we don't allocate it to anywhere else. And that 1.4 is the start. That doesn't say how much, we would be getting that 800,000 on top of that. So it would basically stay about 1.6 if we only use 644,000.
You said we're budgeted conservatively for like 500,000 of income, right?
Yeah, we did conservative for what we're gonna get for 24, 25.
And when we put that back on the ballot, was that for another period of time or for?
I don't think I had a sunset.
I don't think it-
it did either, but I just wanna,
I think it has to go on the ballot. Is it every 10 or 15 years? I think it's mandatory. It has to go back on the ballot. I could be wrong though.
I can't remember, I'd have to look it up.
I think it's a 1-year problem.
well, if we don't get something going
Yeah.
that we can't maintain is what.
Right,
Well, and this just would basically get us through this year. Cause then next year we could possibly look at more things that we could transfer over to rural, such as, I did put on here 100,000 from rural to Gen Basic, for sheriff patrol, because we really didn't have many of the sheriff patrol for rural services. Getting charged, so I was putting 100,000 transfer from rural to Gen Basic to kind of cover some of those rural, charges that should actually probably be happening already anyway.
Susan means like patrol deputies, not.
Right.
Which a certain percentage of them already are.
Right,
But
well,
not
there's only
enough
like
of them.
2 or 3 right now.
Very little.
Yeah,
Lopsided. So that 340,000 that we was looking at as far as the school, that's off the table now. We can't move that out of the budget for the sheriff. Remember we was looking at,
no, that it's already basically, it already is kind of in there because it's kind of like a money in, money out situation. So it's already in the fund. He's already got it,
okay,
expended out. He's already got it revenued.
that's
in.
where
So-
we left it last week, but I didn't know if that's where it was gonna end up, so.
Sounds like, Susan did some checking on other counties.
Right.
Yeah,
That's already accounted for.
Okay.
yeah. So it's basically already set. And this is just kind of an idea of, I just need to know what direction you want to go from here. Because this would only leave us at 3% in general basic. 12 in supplemental, and 20 in rural. I will say the 10% raises. That is, I went through all the departments and including there was 3, I think, from the sheriff's office. Basically, it affects 120,000. It's only like a 1% that it affects. So if you would reduce it, you're only gaining 0.5%. You take it away, you're gaining a whole percent.
Or are you saying you put everybody on an even keel because there were some departments that had 15% in their budget, some only had 10,
I had everybody go through and figure 10%.
at 10?
Yeah.
Okay, and that is
That's what's figured here.
including on all this?
Yes.
Okay,
I put everybody at the same because there was only like 4 departments that did 15%. Everybody else did the 10. We pretty much knew the 15 was not realistic, really. I can explain it more if you want, or I don't know.
There's still scratching our head.
Yeah, trust me, I've been, I've been too.
One
Yeah.
question on option 1, I heard Secretary Roads at 69%.
I can give you a copy, Adam.
Okay,
Don't you have to be at 75 or you lose state funding?
yes.
Mhm.
So talking about that, because I did hear that also too, is, so as option 2, is that have, what's funding that have for secondary roads?
That has the
So-
transfer that we mandatory to do from Gen Basic and roll over to his fund.
Is it 69 or?
Yeah, that's what I had at 69 for the formulas that I've had.
You
So-
can't do that.
Yeah, so if we go to 75, maybe we need to relook at that. Cause didn't you say that, Chris, back when you first started, you guys did that and ended up costing you?
Well, like you were 2 or 3% under, and there's $44,000 you lost, and then you can use your. You can't get your farm to market and all that, so. I mean, if you do that, then we're pretty much dead in
So
the
you gotta
water.
maintain a 75% fund balance, is that what you're saying?
There's a local effort provision that the county has to provide a certain amount of. Funding up, so the total value of the county is the rural valuation and general. Valuation, there's a formula at. I forget the numbers, but whatever it is, but the. The county has to transfers to, yeah, 75% of that amount, which is. 1,510,000, I think this,
And that's what we just transferred. We do that in
Yeah.
December and
July.
Yeah.
July.
yeah, so
Right,
that's
it's not the
the
transfer.
minimum local effort or.
Adam, the 69% is what your balance, your
Your
fund
fund
balance,
balance, not the,
not the transfer amount.
Okay, I didn't understand that, okay. That makes sense, okay.
yeah, that's not just.
Yeah, check that transfer amount.
Yeah, the transfer is that, yeah, that was what you had on your paperwork is what I took for the transfer
Okay,
amount.
I got you.
Yeah, it's just what your ending balance is estimated to be is would be 69%.
And
Okay.
that's of yearly operating expenses.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a percentage of the yearly operating expenses that we would have in reserve for each fund.
Okay,
compared to what the expenses are. So,
yeah, you got. 4958350,
for your expenses. This is all expenses up here,
okay,
and then here's all your glasses on so you can see. Here's your revenues and here's your transfer in.
Okay, good,
Okay, so
good.
then your ending estimated balance would be at 69%. we're giving you the full amount that you had in there.
Okay, and this balance is that compared to what?
Yeah, that is basically an estimated of what we will start with,
Oh, okay. That's
And
the,
then,
that's
yep.
the.
estimated
auditor's
start,
balance there.
yeah,
Okay.
auditor's balance. And then you take your expenses minus your revenues
And then.
and your difference, and then that's your estimated, and that's comparable to what you've always been in the
Okay,
past.
I got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Cool.
So then we're still good,
Yep,
okay,
I think so.
So that's a balanced budget in option 2,
yes,
and then the percentages at the bottom is what's in our. What savings account, I guess, for lack of a better word.
yeah, basically.
So how does that compare to the last previous handful of years?
I did not do the prior years. I will say when I was looking at, the budgets that were entered into the state site. Some of the beginning balances, keep in mind, this is all estimation. 1 year it was 900,000, the next year, the estimated beginning balance was 2.9. I'm not really sure how the prior auditor figured some of those balances and stuff, so to really say what last year's, I would have to type this in for everything to kind of figure it out.
Well, the closest I could come to right now and give you a rough idea is, so on option 1, it's a -7% fund balance in federal basic for 444,000 in the hole. And so that 800,000 that we started the year with would be a little under 14%. Your reserve should be higher than that, but that's what it was beginning of this year, it looks like.
Another thing that's gonna kind of play into this, you'll see the very end, there's sheriff expenditures, they're wanting to do an amendment. I need to kind of know how you want to handle that amendment, because that could possibly affect this, because if you're gonna use general basic, then that's gonna lower this, that $100,000. Or if you want to use lost funds for that 100,000 to pay for his amendment that he's wanting to do. It kind of plays into that, so I
Any budget amendment is gonna,
affect
Right.
what this is.
Can we use lost money to,
For,
for share?
he has in his amendment, he's got a new car. Fuel and equipment for one of the deputies, and for those 3 items, it adds up to 100,000 basically.
But the lost can that be used for that? Cause it's supposed to go to ambulances. and-
Emergency management, and that would be like for the car and for the sheriff equipment.
looks like it can't. I don't think either of us are saying it should be, but it
Where
needs
is
to be
it?
for the emergency equipment. Yeah.
I've never seen that budget amendment come through.
It's in your packet,
Is
at the
it?
very
At the
end,
very bottom.
yeah, it's the very end. So it's whether or not,
Gotcha.
Any amendment's gonna reduce, I mean, we're juggling all the pieces. but
Yeah.
Any amendment's gonna reduce the money we're working with, so.
I mean, this is kind of just an idea to what direction do you guys want us to go? But any adjustment by 100,000, you increase. It's, a 1% difference, up or lower,
100 grand is,
a 1%.
2% for reserve is, it's dangerously low.
well,
You were talking in the.
it's better than a -7.
Yes. That would be illegal.
Yeah.
But the 2, I mean, that accounts for every single person paying their taxes
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Treasurer- the
Oh,
treasurer
sorry,
asked.
sorry.
No, I did not know.
Do that, Harris thing.
Get Doug out of here
Yeah.
before he falls asleep.
Brian, let's go ahead with,
We're gonna
Doug's here.
take a break and get Doug.
This is where we're looking at.
Which think it's good for
I didn't-
department head Doug and one of the raise.
I didn't catch it, but your attorney whited it out.
Right,
Because
can't have that.
can't have it.
All right, I wanted.
So if you can redo this page, Okay.
We can go ahead and sign the bid document and then we'll just bring it back in and we'll just.
Well,
It was somebody in there.
Yes, somebody above signing the wrong place.
So I have to get it
Yeah, that's notarized.
re-notarized.
Yeah.
Do this. Just that page, cause I think even my mom might have signed.
And it better
Well,
was.
that's, oh,
I mean,
no.
okay, so that.
But I'll give you this back, but we can go ahead and do the, if everything's in. We can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything looks good.
No, we'll do the approval. You'll just bring it.
Yeah, redo this.
You bring it into my office.
Yeah, we'll just get approval to sign it.
I'll get it to Wayne and then. We'll take
So the
it.
end, the very last.
Yeah,
page.
I get it.
Well,
That's kind of,
the grant.
I'm sorry, I remember that.
I'll make a motion to approve the Harris.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Motion passed.
here. You're good.
We're good?
Yep.
Let me get all these papers put on here for you. I'll be able to
Here's the.
You guys got everything else
Well,
done?
We got some, yeah, that's all there was.
This is. It's a 2023.
When it was done. Oh, this is how long it's been.
Okay,
That's when the survey was done, was 2023.
yeah.
Can I change?
Only 6 weeks into 2024.
Which I wasn't.
Sixth of February, but it says 2023, so, and I can't change that. It's 24th, and I.
What?
I think you can line through it. For
Okay.
2024.
White out.
Yeah, why not?
That seems to be working.
White out and it was black ink and that took about 5 red flags.
I think this thing got started in
March.
It was.
This is probably a year and
They signed the other 23, and I was looking for back for like. Yeah, and I think the other two have to sign them also.
Oh, resolutions. Some of them we do, some of them don't. They have a lawyer.
I keep those transcripts.
Yeah, there's sometimes I have to sign it, sometimes I don't.
I added the resolution number for you, and they'll take copies of the transcript. Yeah. Oh, no, this is.
You have what? You have,
I
probably.
do out in the truck. I'll go get it.
No, I don't. I might have it right here.
You know, yeah.
This yellow one? Nope. No, that's Shirley childhood. Oh, well.
You guys need my reading.
This is what you're gonna need. I remember exactly.
I got it. Yeah. I mean, you don't really lose me, but I'm more. I can't hurry.
Because it was on in December.
Okay, that's all right.
Know anything about the sheriff?
Well, I heard it was gonna be around 100,000, right?
I have some questions on it.
I do too.
And I think that's something we have to deal with that department head.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a discussion.
That's why I didn't.
Yeah,
But did-
I have
I
a
didn't
question. I didn't either, and I had some questions.
Someone mentioned it before.
I mentioned it a while back and I had put it off. One, I've been busy, two, I don't agree with that, I wanted to be able to talk to.
Can you get Brandon?
Yeah,
But I think we need to have him here and not nobody brought up on this.
Yeah, I have questions.
We have enough to deal with.
Right, and then back then, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It's just something that happens. And I feel like it's what we're getting our thing is.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I sent this to the auditor. That we have auditor books and stuff, trying to figure out what, you know, was this. Yeah.
So, Susan,
Yes.
I was going by Adam's logic on the previous year, because he was looking at the numbers, basically. I think you were looking at the numbers and doing some quick math. If you go over to general supplemental, using that basic math, last year it was 1%. I mean, we had $71,000.
Yeah, it was very low.
I mean,
Yeah,
Supplemental to fund though, that it's just essentially benefits and other,
election,
you know what the expenditures
Yeah.
are gonna be. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
election variable to some extent.
it doesn't really, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, like you said. I mean, it's the health benefits, the FICA, the IFRS, you know, anything benefit related, and then election stuff.
then this year we're showing an estimated balance of $250,000.
Right. And that's just raising, because usually you wanna have a fund balance in there between 25, yeah.
I get it. I'm just
Right,
trying to wrap my head.
no,
around it.
no, you're fine. And I did send, my estimated beginning balances, and these sheets to the, auditor to kind of give him an idea to see if he agreed with what I was doing, and he agreed. What was it, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, Selena sent the email off to him.
Okay.
To make sure that what we were doing is.
I think we need to talk to Brandon about this budget amendment.
Yeah, that's fine, I'm just trying to think outside of the box of what can we do, and whatever you guys do, it affects what we're gonna possibly do for budget. For what we're estimating for next year, so, yeah, it's,
If you add that budget amendment that he added there, where's that put us at? Have you done anything?
it'll drop us at 1%, it'll put us down to
Just
2 instead of
1%.
I think we all can agree that option one is not an option
Yeah,
at -7. I
Right.
think that just goes in the waste can.
Yeah, I
right,
think so.
I'm just trying to show you what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we all can agree for that.
That's what we're
So,
at right now.
yeah, we're focused on option two and how to make option two better,
Right,
right?
right.
Okay.
Because in option two, I'm using some of those lost funds for the buildings, general services. And then I'm doing that $100,000 transfer from rural to general basic. I kind of use the orange highlight to kind of show the differences.
Right.
So basically anything that is in orange.
I agree with that, with the stuff you have on there. I mean, you know, there's things that we've been taking out of, we should have probably been taken out of there anyway. On that.
Right,
Yeah, but if you move stuff to rural services, that lowers that percentage. Yeah, it might bring some over to general. Unless you raise the rural supplemental rate.
which we can't,
Yeah.
Not this year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly next year.
Yeah, that's where possibly next year we'll be able to have that play where we can move some stuff over to the rural, and it'll kind of clean it up instead of us having to transfer the money and stuff. And then I did move zoning over into rural, because it was on the basic, I moved that over to rural too.
Yeah, I'm definitely not comfortable with 2%.
Another big if is the emergency services levy.
Right, if that passes, that's 140, so it's
That's a
1%, yeah.
1%.
Then make it 2 to 1, 3, go back to 3.
I was talking to Vicky and she said kind of the average is 1 to 3% as far as.
At the end of the year, taxes unpaid. It varies from year to year, but it varies between 1 to 3, like last year it was under 1%, just a little bit, but. There's always some that are not paid. But then they go to tax sale, and once tax sale's been held, then it drops down to 0.2 because. Those get paid by those certificate holders. Mobile homes are pretty much all that's ever left that isn't paid, but.
And I will say, Selena went through, the budget and stuff for our things, and I think we had 200,000 in there. And she kind of agreed we could drop it down to 100,000. So, that drops 100,000 because we've only usually ended up using only 100,000. But keep in mind, something breaks, then we're gonna have to come up with that money.
We
So
probably,
she would save that in her budget.
we probably inflated that a few years ago, because years ago it was only like 60,000-70,000. For some projects that we've pretty much done, except for our basement.
Yeah, and you're using ARPA money on that, so that's totally different than this. So actually, maybe we could even lower that even more, since we got the ARPA money, we are gonna use in that building maintenance.
Right. But if anything else happens, like the boilers, I think Selena was commenting about and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like your guys' call, but
Yeah, that's something for us to
think about.
think about here.
And there's not a lot of ARPA funds.
Yeah,
left.
that could be used and lost if something happens to the buildings.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's what it's.
why we haven't tapped into that.
And that's just, that's in that transfer.
I can get you a balance, of what is left exactly if you wanna know.
Please.
I don't think there's much left.
It was 400 and some
Right here
thousand,
it is, it's 429, 397.
and then we took,
Dad, give it to Selena the other day.
we just grabbed 200 out, just estimated for building repairs. So we had about 229,000.
That needs to be allocated this calendar year, right,
Right.
for next
But I-
year, before July 25. Yeah, it has to be used up by the end of next year.
2025.
Yeah.
The calendar year or the budget year?
Calendar year.
So by the end of next
Year has to be spent.
December 31st, 2025.
Yep.
Gotta be on the books.
Okay.
So we got a couple things we need to look at. Any other things, guys? But I would like to get Brandon,
I got
if he's.
a lot of questions.
Today. Yeah.
I think we need to. Back into this. I hate seeing another week go by. What do you guys think?
Right, well, what's our,
How soon is it's gotta go to the press?
what's our deadline?
Part of the amendment, or we
No,
only have our
everybody
budget by March 15.
It's gotta go to press or public hearing by then.
I think it's gotta go by press by March 15th. We gotta have it published, correct?
Well, basically, we have to have it in the system and ready by March 15th. We have to, then we'll have a mailing on March 20th. We do the publication then, and then we have a public hearing with the public. And then we have another publication, and then we have the public hearing to actually approve it or whatever. So it's all gonna, basically, the end of March, April that this happens. It's all kind of been drug out further because of this extra mailing that we're gonna have to do.
Right. And that was part of 718.
Yes,
And this is at the rate we've always been at, the 8.9 or 8 point.
Less, actually.
cause we're at, what is it, 9.9, I think now. I don't have that grand total.
General basic and rural basic are lower than last year.
Okay,
Yeah.
By
So
hand,
it's just
by
the
mandate, by the statute.
It's just the supplemental went up. Cause it was at 2.3 and I had to go to 2.7 to kind of have the buffer there.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a month.
Whole different. I mean, what, when good, didn't
Yeah.
I think it's the six month old. But I think I did.
Nine, three, two.
I don't know. I wasn't.
Let's see, wait.
Budget.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, 6, 80.
Went up 22 cents. Last year was 9.68, now we're at 9.9.
Hey, are you close to?
22 cents. 22 cents
Oh, would you?
from $9.68
And,
to $9.90.
or discussing the budget for the one new year. Well, she's here and, yeah, they wanna talk to you about his whole things, if you could come, okay, thanks, bye.
Now this budget amendments for this year and next year.
forget this year. What would leave your balance different,
Right.
so that you would
Going into
start
it
the
would
year
be,
out at 2% instead of
yeah,
3.
right, we'd be at 6.99, not 7. But if you add money from lost. And your ending balance goes up. Aren't you just moving money from your left hand to your right hand?
Not necessarily, because Lost is its own individual entity, so basically it's not. Included in this, Lost is its own.
Oh, so it's not in, okay,
No.
Sell stuff.
No. It's all its own fund, we don't take that in consideration to any of this.
you're taking it out of your savings account, putting it in your left pocket, and you take it from the left pocket, and put it in your right pocket.
Right, exactly.
Pushing it.
Yeah.
But you're
I know we.
appeasing some taxpayers and
Yeah.
displeasing others.
Right. I mean,
People that buy goods are paying for what the people stuck with property or feel like they're burdened with.
and that's why this isn't necessarily a tax relief, this is just actually paying for funds that were agreed to. Building expenses.
Yeah, it's kind of a gray area,
Yeah.
because you're taking it away from.
Yeah, so the ballot says that
Yes.
it's to be used 0% for property tax. relief.
I understand.
But it was using, and I agree, it's not ideal,
Right.
but the balance of it, the ballot says it can be used for these things, we were using general tax revenue for those things.
Right,
So
exactly.
we just shifted that.
You're shifting the burdens, exactly.
You're doing the same thing with the emergency tax.
Yeah, exactly. You're just taking it, taxing its own entity and taking it out of the general fund.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
the same
This is
thing.
what he's asking for more for the ballot. Yeah.
It's part of this.
It's part of the,
18 show game.
yeah, exactly.
Is there anything that is always spent out of the lost money, or is it a allocated kind of thing? Is there any yearly expenditure that always
The ambulances,
something important?
yeah,
Okay.
And this is new that we're doing.
and that's only been done last 2 years. With 2 budgets.
I did look, the libraries is a mandatory. We're kind of, for the library expense out of rule and stuff, that is mandatory by state code. And we are still, paying a little above what the, recommendation is for that. We're at like 55,000 and the percentage, I think, is like 41,000. So we're right in line with that for oddball expenses.
And it could be paid out of lost, right?
Library, I don't know.
No.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's rural just to cover the
Yeah.
rural people that come
Yeah,
into
for
town and
libraries,
use it.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
sorry.
So do the libraries get funding from cities too?
Yes,
Yeah.
but we're just trying to,
The rule to use the city. You just have control over the rule.
yeah, and everybody's trying to make a
Yeah.
stab at how many.
There's like a percentage, it's like 0.0065, something like that, that we have to, after the rule valuation, give to libraries.
And it's an old equation.
Well, when you made the comment that the rural people come into the libraries, that's what,
Well, that's,
that's why I asked the question.
that's kind of the way to fathom it.
Yeah,
We don't wanna
I
pay
get it.
them.
I get it.
It isn't our job to pay the whole bill, but it's
Yes,
to help.
yes, yeah, help pay, yes.
Is what I was told. So that's.
Or should we digest this for a couple of days and have another meeting and put
Brandon is
No.
coming in.
If he wasn't coming in, I'd listen. We have a meeting Thursday and. Cause you can kind of come in here.
I just like to, I like to listen about, I want to ask him about that and then digest everything else. I can make a decision, but I want to kind of understand where this came in.
What is the one of your rules?
Thursday night. That's 7:30.
7:30, I think.
I think I'll double check.
Usually it's 7:30.
So I just need to do the
Sorry.
agenda for you guys.
Yeah.
Because you're all.
Yeah.
So Thursday, the 8th.
Yep.
Kind of have it show like everybody else's. But what I'm thinking is, this is the percentage just in salary, but I don't know if this is percentage that went in for.
Thursday and 7:30.
Thank you. It's kind of like a non-departmental. Yeah, it's not. I know, but I don't wanna do it.
Brad, morning, guys.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about your amendment. Can you kind of go over that?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen it. I just want to ask you some questions.
Did you bring a copy with you?
No, I don't.
Here, I think I have it there.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit different than yours, but it's
Yeah.
basically all the same line items. I just typed it so the formula would work.
Okay.
And what we're doing, we're moving some of our stuff. We had to go with option 2. I don't know. I know you haven't seen any of these. But we had to move some stuff out of loss that was allowable that we put in there. That we could take out of that. But to add that, your amendment, that puts us down to a 2% fund balance. So that's why we have some questions.
We're at 3.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
With this, it takes us to 2.
So most of this is, when we added the 2080 agreement for Plum Junction. And most of it's refunded back into, on the revenue side of what Plum Junction and what Plum Junction schools paid. So that's what the Justin Walker wages are, motor vehicle equipment. That's, and I think we've already received the payment from Plum Junction and Plum Junction School. I remember seeing it, at least I think I made copies of everything.
Was it a 75-25 split? How was that?
And then the city of Plum Junction provided an additional $15,000, which was put into those numbers and when we built the school. So our cost is 25% minus that contribution by the city. Pretty much that's all of the first one, second one, third, fourth.
But looking, when Justin's wages already, just because his name's on here, that's one reason.
July of 2023.
But wasn't it already in here? I had it wrote down the sides. So how did we miss him on that?
We didn't miss them. We were waiting for the budget amendment to go through. We had anticipated it would go through for that in that July.
Well, that was the beginning of our budget year, July 1 of 2020.
It's for 24, but it's 23.
Yeah.
He is
do-
included in the.
Yeah, because he's in our wage.
Correct. He's
Yeah.
included in the new one. Well, the next one,
The bottom of the first.
the
page.
bottom one is all the K-9 related things. So the grants that we're getting from Community Foundation Grant, Riverside Grant. And those are the totals there. And what we need back into the expenditure side from the grants that we are receiving. And we've got those on the revenue side, at least one of the 2 already. In account on the second page. That again is Justin and the training that he had to go to, again. 75% or more in the city's contributions, paying that in the revenue side. The next one, vehicle motor insurance claims, that's been paid to us. We're putting that money back on the expenditure side, so we can pay those repairs. The other one, the last one, is Brad's retirement backfill. So to get somebody in the academy right now, and he is in the academy right now, there should be money setting available when Brad retires from the difference in salary between potentially me and Brad's. And also that's why we asked for that additional money for him to go to the academy. The academy money originally funded was used by JD to go to the law enforcement academy. So we asked for that additional money there for the academy for Brad's backfill position.
So you're saying some of this money you're requesting is also coming as revenue? Where is that shown?
I sent all,
The very last page shows the revenues, and then the difference between the expenditures and the revenues is the 100%, the 100,000, 108, yeah. That's the difference between the revenues and the expenditures for the.
So on the accident stuff, if the insurance is covering all that, why are we out $37,000? Wouldn't insurance cover most of that other than our deductible?
Yeah, I don't know why that's. We have just a certain amount budgeted every year for accidents that happen. That's at $10,000, I think, originally.
That should just cover our deductible.
And then they'll tell us, say, your car costs $15,000 to repair. And we'll get paid that amount minus the deductible. So that, this is something that's probably gonna have to happen every single year. But I don't know it. It shouldn't be that.
Next one, the insurance just pay the body shop? And then we
No,
did it.
They can't do it that way.
I don't know, if that's.
We'd love for it to be that way, because that would take out doing
out that
this,
line
yeah, but we have to do it this way.
Okay.
So the only money we should be missing is our $300 deductible or $600 deductible.
Right,
Everything else should be paid out.
in theory.
In theory, your revenue and your expenditure should be relatively close minus your deductibles.
When you get those revenue checks, are you putting them in the miscellaneous receipt under that account? The general basic 405-0055-25-9200? Or are you putting it in a miscellaneous line?
I don't think we're putting miscellaneous, we're putting it into that insurance revenue line. There's like a direct one for it.
Okay, so
So your line items might be,
and let's say, so that revenue should be in that line, so we shouldn't have to do an amendment for that, correct? If you guys are depositing.
well,
a check into
we still
that
have to
line.
do it on the expenditure side. It's gonna come in and go on that revenue side, but it's about to be an amendment made, or we won't be able to use it.
Well, if you're making a claim for the 37,393.85 out of this motor vehicle repairs line, that would be down that line, and then your revenue line, it should be a wash. I guess I'm just,
It won't be a wash totally because of the deductibles.
okay.
So if you got 3 claims, that's 6 times 3, $1,800 or so, but. So we also had to pay out on this current budget. We also had to pay out a $16,000 claim that should have been on the last one. But that revenue was already in there for that.
So the 75% from the school. Obviously, 75% of Justin's wage. Was it up to 75% of the car and all that other stuff?
That's why those line items, I think, is important in the future to separate all the line items for each school. The expenditure side and the revenue side, moving forward.
Because yes, on the sheriff revenue fund 0001. BOS approved 371,415.90.
Yep.
That's all kinds of
That's all-
different,
that's
that's
all-
all, that's
right.
not. That's not just.
That's why it
School. I
looks
think it's,
skewed.
yes, it's skewed.
Because I'm trying to take 75% of 484,000 and that ain't 113.
That's what, that number is what's screwing this whole
That's
thing,
all of it.
this whole form of it.
I get it.
I don't think it's anywhere close to 108.
Can you follow up on that and see if that's what we can do there?
Yeah, I think you got it, and we've kind of briefly talked about this, but I think you need to do separate line items for
this?
each of the 2080 agreements.
Yeah. And not put them all in one.
So you can follow along a little
Yes.
better.
No, and they're all different.
It's my opinion, that's something that they're
No,
not.
I think. Good
I
suggestion.
should think. And that would make that number come out a lot lower than 108 also too, wouldn't
It
it?
should, yeah.
Well, the 108 is just on the budget amendments that he's wanting to do today. Period.
But is that coming off of how we combined everything, how we came up with that?
That's all the adjustments. That's where that line item on there. It's all his adjustments. It's all the expenditures minus the revenues. It's 108 difference.
The number's not gonna change. It's just on how.
Yeah, it's just on how it'll look on the spreadsheet in the future of having each school be on a line item. But for the amount of the adjustment, it's the 100,000 that we have to adjust.
Bill Brady can retire until July.
It's cheaper for him to retire, actually.
Yeah, you'd think it would save 20,000, but with,
Well,
not right.
yeah.
We got some numbers to digest here.
Yeah, I just want to go back and take a look at
I'd like
this.
to talk a little more about that insurance thing and see, make sure that's okay.
You know, when we was going over like the jail budget, I made a bunch of notes that when we was talking going through here, and if you remember on there, there's a few things that we can cut back, we just anticipated. And I came up with about 35,000 that we had over here that when we was talking about it could be adjusted.
I got a whole
That's
book.
the next
full of them.
budget, not this budget.
I got a whole book full of them over here.
Yeah, I do too.
It's not just that department.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that for this budget here, maybe we can look at that too, to make that number come out a little better. I just know we can't, with 2%, we're gonna do something.
The backfill position for sheriff retirement, that's something that's,
I know.
you will not see in the revenue side, so that's added. Healthcare, medical expenses, jail. Susie requested that, that's 10,000 extra, that's something you'll not see in the revenue side. Everything else on here, with the exception of the insurance claims. You should see that 75%.
Yeah.
Paid for by the school and the
out.
city. But
I wish we could have just done like we was looking at to take that part out of it, kind of clean it up, but since we can't, we gotta look at it. So.
Right.
Okay,
You're the biggest expense in the county, so you're the one that's gonna get scrutinized probably harder than some other ones, unfortunately.
Sure.
Not that you're not doing a good job, it's just, that's where the bulk of the money's at.
well, I can take a look at the,
If Adam was the biggest bulk, he'd be the one.
all right, you want me to look at insurance, insurance detail, make sure the revenue lines up with it.
We're just gonna have to go through our books and sharpen the pencil a little bit and be fair about it and do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Are we happy to get the number to 6%? What's the number? Where you, I mean,
best number we can come up with. I don't know,
We're not gonna get to 20.
no, absolutely not. There's no way. But
but I
you
think
know,
we need to look at all the numbers and.
Yeah.
Do the best.
I mean, I feel like the budget itself would fluctuate between 1% and 3%. So we should have 6 there to make sure we have our 3% at least.
I agree.
Off of next year's budget, do you have any questions about that?
You answered some big
I'm
ones.
trying to run some numbers for Susan as well, with some different percentages here.
Yeah, we were trying to look at 10% versus 5%. And that's where I was telling you, the 10% is 120,000 for everybody. That is not required, just an estimation without actually plugging all the numbers in. Because like public health is already in there, they've already been approved by their board, conservation's already been approved by their board, so it's basically everybody else that is not affected by that. So we figured it's 120, so you take it down to 5, it's only 60,000. So it's kind of a.
Yeah.
Okay.
But 100,000 is a 1%.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
We'll keep at it. We'll get it. We'll find a number.
We could do some more shell games and get most everybody 100,000 out, that might make it fly. That's gonna be interesting.
Anything else?
Want a motion to adjourn?
Please.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Adjourn.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Gentlemen, I want to introduce Brian Metcalf. He's kind of Assistant County Attorney from Muscatine.
Hi. Hello there.
Hi, nice